Good evening and welcome. It's 8 p.m. on the clock. Time for the news on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. These are the headlines. Anti-terror raids on NewsClick journalists. At least 10 journalists raided, 5 questioned. Laptops, mobile phones of journalists also seized by the special cell of the Delhi police. Maha Hospital shocker, 31 deaths in just 48 hours, 16 infants among 31 deceased in the Nanded hospital. Dean rejects allegations of medical negligence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's sharp attack on Telangana Chief Minister KCR ahead of the Telangana polls. Prime Minister claims KCR wanted to join NDA but was rejected. KCR's son denies Prime Minister claims not bitten by a rabid dog response. Earthquake in Nepal. Tremors felt in North India. 4 earthquakes strike Nepal within an hour. 6.2 magnitude earthquake, strongest of the 4. Ladies and gentlemen, starting with our top focus this evening, 5 sections of stringent UAPA, anti-terror law and penal code provisions relating to criminal conspiracy and promoting enmity were invoked on journalists this morning. That forms the bedrock of the case against NewsClick, the website, and at least 10 journalists and contributors associated with the news website. Earlier today, Delhi police, acting on information from the Enforcement Directorate, raided several locations in the NCR region. Electronic devices like mobile phones, laptops were seized, and 5 journalists were taken for further questioning, who were later released. And all this, in fact, stems from the Enforcement Directorate case in which NewsClick is accused of receiving nearly 38 crore rupees from entities with alleged links to China. Remember, it all blew up last month after an article in a foreign publication which accused this website of peppering their coverage with Chinese propaganda.
देखिए, मुझे जस्टिफाई करने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर किसी ने गलत किया है तो उसके ऊपर जांच एजेंसियां काम करती हैं और ये कहीं नहीं लिखा कि आपके पास अगर गलत तरीके से पैसा आया होगा, आपत्तिजनक कोई कार्य होगा तो उसके ऊपर कोई जांच एजेंसी कार्रवाई नहीं कर सकती। जांच एजेंसियां स्वतंत्र हैं, वो अपनी कार्रवाई नियमों को देखकर करती हैं।
Meanwhile, the Press Club of India and the Editors Guild have reacted strongly to this and has asked the government to reveal all the facts, because now there is a debate whether this is to cause a chilling effect as far as the journalists are concerned. The Editors Guild has also said that they stand by in solidarity with the journalists who are facing the government action at this moment. Let me very quickly go across and bring in my colleague Arvind Gunasekar, who is joining us at this moment with more details. Arvind, these are very, very stringent laws which have been invoked on journalists. What are the bases and why is the investigation at this moment? At what juncture is the investigation at?
Ankit, the Delhi police on August 17 has registered an FIR against NewsClick and also people associated with NewsClick under the stringent anti-terror law, that is the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. UAPA has always been dubbed as an anti-terror law, but this is the first time UAPA, the stringent anti-terror law, has been invoked against a news organization, and Delhi police sources say that apart from UAPA, the police has also invoked section 153A of IPC, which is promoting enmity between 2 groups, and also section 120B of IPC, which is criminal conspiracy. So what we are being told is that the Enforcement Directorate, during its earlier investigation in a case that the agency took cognizance from the Delhi police economic offence wing case that only deals with financial irregularity, the Enforcement Directorate, during the course of its investigation, has got to know that NewsClick allegedly received almost 38 crore from entities that are allegedly linked to China, and that's where the Enforcement Directorate shared those information with the Delhi police. But again, the important point here is that the timing. This particular sharing of information, or the FIR that has been registered by Delhi police, which is on August 17th, that dates right after the New York Times report, and that's where the timing is currently being questioned. But the Delhi police sources say that because there was a cognizable offence that has been brought to the notice of Delhi police, and that's where Delhi police promptly registered this particular FIR way back on August 17, and they did their own homework, and today they started searches at over 30 locations across National Capital Region that also covers almost 10 journalists. At some point of time, all these journalists were associated with NewsClick. Not just these 10 journalists, but the agency also covered the premises of Teesta Satalwal. So what we are being told is that NewsClick, these 38 crores that NewsClick allegedly received from entities backed by China, that particular amount of funds was shared with all these journalists as salaries or as remunerations, and also with Teesta Satalwal. And that's where the agency conducted the searches today, and almost 5 journalists were picked up and they were taken to special cell office and they were questioned throughout the day. And what we are being told is that all those people who have been questioned by the agency has been let off, except Purke Asta, who is the founder of NewsClick. His status is still, police is yet to reveal his status, but what we are being told is that the agency likely to again summon these journalists for further investigation.
Right, so trouble's not over for these journalists. Meanwhile, the opposition and the India bloc have also hit out at the government, calling this a witch hunt against journalists, those who are critical of the government. Arvind, thank you for joining us with all those details. Moving on to the other big story that we have been tracking this throughout the day, ladies and gentlemen. 7 more patients, 4 of them children, died late last night at the government hospital in Maharashtra's Nanded. Now, this takes the death toll in the hospital, in fact, the government hospital, in the past 48 hours to 31. Among these, 16 were infants or children. Now, the dean of the hospital has rejected the allegations of medical negligence, which many, in fact, the kith and kin of the patients who have passed away had alleged. Now, the dean has also said that there was no shortage of medicines or doctors, and stressed that patients did not respond to treatment despite being given proper care. There are still many patients, those who are in critical condition.
नांदेड़ हॉस्पिटल की जो दुर्घटना है सरकार ने गंभीरता से ली हुई है और सुबह ही मैंने दोनों सेक्रेटरी को बुलाया था, उनसे प्राथमिक जानकारी ली हुई है। अस्पताल में मेडिसिन बिल्कुल पूरी तरह जितना आवश्यक है उतना वहाँ पर था, डॉक्टर और स्टाफ वहाँ पर मौजूद थे। जो घटना हुई है वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, इसकी जांच होगी और कार्रवाई हो जाएगी और सरकार ने इसे गंभीरता से लिए इसलिए क्योंकि वहाँ पर हमारे जो मंत्री है और सेक्रेटरी है वहाँ पर उनको तत्काल वहाँ पर भेजा है और इसके बाद इसकी पूरी जो आवश्यक जानकारी है वो प्राप्त हो जाएगी।
Let me go across to my colleague Pooja Bharadwaj, who is joining us at this moment from this very hospital, in fact, to get a latest on what the situation is. Pooja, बहुत सारे लोग अभी वहां पर ऐसे हैं जो अभी भी क्रिटिकल हैं। आप जब से वहां पहुंची हैं, लोग क्या कह रहे हैं? What are the eyewitnesses telling you?
जी, जितने लोगों से हमने यहाँ पर बात की है, सीधे ये वही बातें कर रहे हैं जो सरकार जिन दावों को ठुकरा रही है। सरकार लगातार कह रही है कि स्टाफ की कमी नहीं है, दवा की कमी नहीं है, और यहाँ पर हम जितने लोगों से बात कर रहे हैं, दवा की कमी, स्टाफ की कमी और सफाई की किस तरह से यहाँ पर बुरी हालत है, वो बता रहे हैं कि खुद भी वो दवा लेने बाहर से जा रहे हैं, दवा खुद पिला रहे हैं अपने मरीजों को, अपने परिजन को, और सफाई भी खुद ही कर रहे हैं। तो इस तरह से बुरी हालत अब आप बीती लोगों को बता रहे हैं। और आप भी कुछ बताना चाहते हैं। आपका नाम क्या है सर?
विजय मेरा नाम है और मैं यहीं पे रहता हूँ। मैम यहाँ पे
कौन भर्ती है आपका?
मेरे भाई की 2 दिन पहले बेटी पैदा हुई है, उनको अभी ग्लास में रखा हुआ है। तो अभी ऐसे
कंडीशन है उनकी?
कंडीशन अच्छी है अभी, बट यहाँ पे दवाइयाँ और सब कुछ जो कि चीज़ें लगने वाली है वो बाहर से लेकर आने के लिए कह रहे हैं, और डॉक्टर चिट्ठी पे लिख के देते हैं कि दवाई ये दवाई की कमी है और बाहर से लेकर आइएगा। और इस ऐसी हालत है यहाँ पे कि एमआरआई और सीटी स्कैन के लिए आपको बाहर ही जाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे 2 सालों से मैं अभी 2 साल पहले भी यहाँ पे आया था और 2 सालों से लगातार हम पेशेंट को लेकर आते हैं, हमारे परिजनों के जब भी लेकर आते हैं सीटी स्कैन के लिए और एमआरआई के लिए हमें बाहर ही जाना पड़ता है। और दवाइयों की इतनी कमी है और स्टाफ की भी मेरे ख्याल से कमी है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे सफाई का जो भी काम किया जाता है 260 लोग ही यहाँ पे सफाई के लिए है, और हर वार्ड में एक ही वो सर्वेंट यहाँ पे उनकी तरफ से दिया जा रहा है, और एक वार्ड सर्वेंट से काम कितना किया जाएगा, बाथरूम में सब कुछ।
ठीक है विजय जी, आपने अपनी आपत्ति बताई। स्थानीय पत्रकार हैं, 20 सालों से यहाँ पर काम कर रहे हैं और अस्पताल की हालत खुद इन्होंने अंदर देखी है। योगेश, आप मुझे बता रहे थे कि यहाँ पर ऐसे 40 इन्फेंट वार्मर मशीन्स हैं जो ऐसे पड़ी हुई हैं, जो काम में नहीं है। क्या ये एक बड़ी वजह रही है कि दवा की कमी और इन मशीन को जो कि पड़े हुए हैं, काम नहीं कर रहे हैं और ऐसे नवजातों की मौत हुई है?
पक्के तौर पर जो वार्मर मशीन है वो उस चीज़ के लिए काम में आता है जिस बच्चे का वज़न 2.5 किलो से कम होता है, उसके लिए वार्मर मशीन काम में आती है। दूसरा, जो 9 महीने में बच्चा पैदा होना चाहिए, अगर वो प्री मैच्योर डिलीवरी होती है तो उसके भी ट्रीटमेंट के लिए वार्मर मशीन ज़रूरी है। जब मैं खुद अंदर गया, जब हमने देखा तो करीब 40 से 45 मशीन जो है वो वहाँ पर एक कोने में पड़े हुए हैं, और सिर्फ 6 मशीन जो है जिनमें बच्चे रखे गए हैं जो काम कर रहे हैं। तो ये अगर मशीन काम में होते तो मुझे लगता है कि ये पिक्चर जो है कुछ और होती।
ठीक है, तो आप देखें ये यहाँ की ज़मीनी हालत है कि किस तरह से मशीनें पड़ी हुई हैं। तमाम जो यहाँ पे परिजन हैं देर रात तक इंतजार कर रहे हैं और इन्हें यही कहा जा रहा है कि बाहर से आप दवा लेकर आइए। तो हज़ार की दवा वो बाहर से लेकर आ रहे हैं। सफाई की यहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा कमी है, स्टाफ की करीब बताया जा रहा है 250 स्टाफ की कमी है। तो एक नर्स पे करीब 60 से 80 ऐसे पेशेंट्स हैं जिनका वो ख्याल रख रहे हैं। तो एक जर्जर हालत ज़रूर है, ज़मीनी हकीकत जो हमें पता चल रही है इन सबसे बात करके। जी
Pooja, thank you for joining us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, just remember, we just played that bite out for you, what the Chief Minister said. What the government claims and what the reality is, there seems to be a difference of night and day as far as both these claims are concerned. People on the ground, those who are suffering, speaking to our colleague and giving you the picture of what is happening as far as this hospital is concerned, while the government is making absolutely fantastic claims of everything being fine. Now, I just want to play out one more visual, in fact, and you heard that man saying that the hospital is quite dirty. Now, a dirty toilet in a government hospital in Maharashtra's Nanded, where 31 people, this is the same hospital that we are talking about, had died, was cleaned by no less than the dean of the hospital after an MP from the ruling Shiv Sena instructed him to do so. Now, this is some sort of anger, outburst management or visual management which you are seeing after the death of 31 people. It doesn't require a dean, but just take a look at the condition of this toilet, and this was the toilet that people were being forced to use. Now, the dean is cleaning it, but the fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, this should have not been a counter reaction to 31 deaths. This should have been a process which this hospital should have followed of cleanliness at the very place. Moving on now to some political story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is now going across the 5 election-bound states today, made pit stops in 2 states, Chhattisgarh and Telangana. But it was in Telangana where the Prime Minister made some sensational claims. Prime Minister Narendra Modi came down heavily on Chief Minister of the state, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, and said that KCR wanted to join the NDA, but Prime Minister firmly rebuffed him. Prime Minister Modi said while campaigning for, this in fact was said while he was campaigning in Hyderabad today for the upcoming polls in the state. Listen in.
हम भी एनडीए का हिस्सा बनना चाहते हैं, आप हमें एनडीए में शामिल कर दीजिए। मैंने कहा आगे क्या? बोले हैदराबाद में म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन में हमारी मदद कर दीजिए। मैंने केसीआर को कहा आपके कारनामे ऐसे हैं, मोदी आपके साथ जुड़ नहीं सकता है।
Now, this claim was rejected by BRS party. None other than KTR, the son of the chief minister, came out and in fact dismissed the claims made by the Prime Minister. Listen in.
This Prime Minister is so inconsistent. He says on the one hand, BRS has funded Congress in Karnataka, and he says that he has not allowed us into NDA. हमें कोई पागल कुत्ता ने काटा है क्या कि एनडीए में हम जाके शामिल हो जाएं? आज पूरे के पूरे पार्टी आपको एनडीए को छोड़ के बाहर जा रहे हैं। आपको अगर आप देखेंगे, शिवसेना छोड़ के गई, आपको जनता दल यू आपको छोड़ के गई है, तेलुगु देशम आपको छोड़ के गई है, शिरोमणि अकाली दल आपको छोड़ के गई है। साथ है कौन आपके? सीबीआई, ईडी, आईटी, इनके अलावा है कौन आपके एनडीए में?
Let me bring in my colleague Uma Sudhir, who's joining us with more details on this story in Hyderabad. Uma, of course, the election season has been, the bugle, the proverbial bugle has been sounded. The Prime Minister, in fact, making the most in his rally, attacking both the Congress and the BRS. But the fact remains, in some way, the Congress is also going to like what the Prime Minister said about the Chief Minister.
Well and truly the political campaign of the BJP has begun in Telangana. He was speaking in Nizamabad today and went all out. It's personally embarrassing for the Chief Minister and his family that the Prime Minister should say in a public forum that KCR had come to me and asked to join the NDA and I denied him entry. And he also says that he had wanted to anoint KTR as his successor and sought the blessings of the Prime Minister, and that the Prime Minister had allegedly told KCR that this is not a kingdom and you're not a king to hand over the mantle to your son. So all this obviously was to be met with a very sharp political response from the BRS, which of course Mr. K.T. Ramarao has done it in his own style. But I must point out that politically, while the Prime Minister has, in a sense, turned the tables on both the Congress and the BRS, if Revanth Reddy of the Congress was saying that the BJP is playing as B team for the BRS, today the Prime Minister said that the Congress is playing B team of the BRS because KCR had bankrolled the election of the Congress in Karnataka. And very importantly, he's also made a mention hitting out at the Congress on a day when the PCC chief also wrote to the Chief Minister saying that there should be data on the OBC category, which the state government had got done in 2014, and that it should be put out in the public domain. And Prime Minister raising this question about whether the Abadi should be related to the rights, and he spoke about poverty being his criteria, and that the poor are to be seen as his family. So is he trying to change the kind of a goalpost from the issue of caste to saying that it should be economic criteria that should become the basis for the OBC reservation issue that everyone is now talking about? Back to you.
That's right. That is one of the key, in fact, points that the opposition is picking up against the BJP and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, as Uma was saying, trying to, in fact, answer that question as well. Thank you, Uma, for joining us with all those details. Now, a day after releasing the data from a controversial caste-based survey, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar chaired an all-party meeting to present the findings of the census report and deliberate on the move for action as far as political parties are concerned. Remember, the caste survey was done in Bihar after consensus among political parties. Meanwhile, another story, in fact, strong tremors were felt in Delhi today after multiple earthquakes hit Nepal, ranging between 4.6 to 6.2 magnitude on the Richter scale. Now, two earthquakes happened within 25 minutes of each other, a third of 3.8 magnitude 15 minutes later, and then a fourth one of 3.1 magnitude, an aftershock 13 minutes after that. The epicenter of the strongest quake was 206 kilometers southeast of Joshimath in Uttarakhand and 284 kilometers north of Lucknow. The earthquake was felt in Delhi and other parts of the national capital region. Tremors were felt in 30 districts of Uttar Pradesh, including Lucknow, and parts of Uttarakhand also experienced these tremors. Now, no reports of damage or injuries, and thankfully no fatalities have been reported from Nepal, though there have been some structures which have been damaged. Meanwhile, 3 people have been killed in a shooting at a luxury shopping mall in the city center of capital of Bangkok, in fact, in Thailand. 4 other people were injured in the incident. Now, this shooting took place at the Siam Paragon Center, including one of the injured is a foreign national. A suspect, 14-year-old, has been arrested after surrendering. He had been using a handgun, is what the police has said. Now, this created huge panic in one of the most popular shopping destinations in the country of Bangkok.